law. I can't really discuss any part of the investigation that isn't contained in our indictment. However, it is absolutely clear, and the evidence is overwhelming, that the remote actors from GRU headquarters were hacking into both United's real time in immediate temporal proximity to go on site to compromise hotel Wi-Fi, to compromise officials who were traveling, their access to their laptops as they then logged into their systems and their organizational networks. All of that was done through very sophisticated hacking means, and it's laid out in the indictment. They had spoof domains set up. They had done their research on not only the companies, their networks, their protections, but also individuals. They would go on LinkedIn pages. They would try to find ways to compromise either their official work email through spear phishing or sometimes personal email, and that's alleged in the indictment as well. So it was sophisticated. We were fortunate that the Dutch intelligence service was able to disrupt the on-the-ground operation that they had in The Hague. However, I don't want your listeners to think that these are not sophisticated actors. They are very sophisticated.
Well, that is interesting because a lot of people have been saying, look at the way they got caught. They were in the car park of the Marriott Hotel trying to get up close to, the OPCW to hack into their Wi-Fi. Seems a little bit amateurish. What would you say to that, and the fact that they're caught with taxi receipts from GRU headquarters to Moscow airport?
I would say that even the most sophisticated operators sometimes make mistakes, and that is a part of our investigation, how we were able to, through just good, hard work, identify these groups into the GRU headquarters who had started by trying to penetrate Westinghouse Electric Company, which is headquartered in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and provides nuclear power plant plans to 50% contract with the Ukraine for nuclear fuel. This group began trying to penetrate the networks of Westinghouse, and then as their threat assessment changed, and I don't want to speculate about kind of how they targeted these organizations, but I think it's fairly clear the anti-doping regimes surrounding the Rio Olympics and the documentary on German television on channel ARD identified the state sponsorship of doping for Russia's international athletes, and these groups were immediately... With
impunity, as you and others would say, it has been doing over the last number of years under Vladimir Putin in particular. But there is the other side of this, which this is exposure or revealing revelations about a counterintelligence operation. It's very unusual for any country to reveal its counterintelligence stuff, for the Dutch to come forward and say, yeah, we intercepted four spies. So this does happen, it's fair to say, Scott. All countries have their spies, and they'll be doing this all over the world. There'll be US spies and British spies doing this kind of thing, surely, all over the world as we speak.
Well, I'll let the Dutch speak for themselves. Our perspective from the Department of Justice is that this goes beyond normal spy versus spy tradecraft and intelligence gathering. When they hacked into networks, when they attempted to steal corporate trade secrets, when they stole the most sensitive medical information of athletes from around the world and then published that, that is a crime, and there are real victims who are harmed. And so for us, that then transgressed that line between intelligence and criminal activity. And so our charges...
says, yeah, thank you for that incisive in comment on that.
I don't know.
Take the debate a bit further forward, hasn't it? Strength to hold a pencil, but they can swipe. More playing with keys and less technology perhaps might give them the base skills to cope with the demands of school.
Well, that's clearly wrong too, though, isn't it? Like I was saying before, it's about a balance, isn't it?
Well, I'm just perhaps getting a bit sci-fi on this, but in 10, 20 years' time, maybe you won't require a pencil at school. Everything will be done via a tablet. And Fraser in Edinburgh, for example, says a child won't learn to talk, write or draw with an iPad, but I even know they can. An iPad can very well teach a child to draw and to talk, can't they?
They
An iPad
can.
can talk to a child.
They can,
An
but-
iPad can have conversation.
They can, but
an
you-
iPad
Other
can teach you a
tablets are
language.
available.
Oh, sorry, yes, a tablet. Thank you.
But you can also be a parent that gives your child an iPad, but also be a parent that draws with your child and paints with your
Yeah,
child.
I'm not saying neglect the child, but I'm saying in this modern age,
Yeah.
rather than
That sounds good.
probably cost the council a fortune.
I used to go to mass and just to go down to the back when nobody was looking and get all the candle wax off all the votive candles and make them into a big wax figure.
Yeah. And that was obviously far more useful than learning a foreign language on a
Well,
tablet. at the
you
age of
made a
3.
lolly out of tar.
I know, because I didn't have a tablet. 5:20.
This is 5 Live Drive.
So we have a look at the headlines then this afternoon. Russian spies have been accused of involvement in a series of cyber plots across the world. A drug dealer has become the first in the UK to be jailed under the Modern Slavery Act for grooming teenagers.
The which a breakdown blocking one lane and traffic very slow into the roadworks. Southbound on the M1 at junction 24 East Midlands Airport. The accident there now just blocking one lane. It had been 2. It's left severe delays in the area, particularly on that southbound carriageway back past junction 25 for Nottingham. Heading north on the M6 from junction 14 Stafford North to 15 Stoke-on-Trent. The breakdown has been moved. There's also been an accident there. Traffic there is queuing quite heavily. Delays of over half an hour. Heading south on the M6 is still quite slow from junction 7 at Great Bar to 6 Spaghetti Junction after an earlier accident. Northbound past those junctions also still slow because of an earlier breakdown. The clockwise M25 at junction 27 the M11. An accident blocking one lane with queues back to junction 26 Waltham Abbey. Anti-clockwise is still very busy.
In 2016, it was Thomas Wilkins.
George North, what a try!
In 2017, it was Isaac Barrington.
Rashford comes up with the goods with the finish.
And soon, 5 Live's 2018 search for a brand new Young Commentator of the Year begins.
What an opportunity!
If you know a young person aged 11 to 15 who loves sport and loves talking about it, then we want to hear them in action. Listen to Robbie Savage's Premier League Breakfast.
An hour ago, he wrote, "Hey O2, your network is down in Old Trafford. Not a surprise normally, but it's not match day." So we'll keep across that.
Yeah.
Will.
Now, Cristiano Ronaldo is not in the Portugal squad for this month's internationals against Poland and Scotland. The former Real Madrid and Manchester United player was rested for Portugal's internationals in September. Yesterday, he denied an allegation that he raped Catherine Mayorga in 2009 in Las Vegas. We can speak to our sports news correspondent Richard Conway. Hi, Richard.
Hi, Tony.
So last night there was a press conference for by the lawyers for Catherine Mayorga. What did they say?
Yeah, so they spoke late last night in Las Vegas, talked about how Catherine Mayorga had been inspired to speak out by the Me Too movement, of course, which we've seen lots